Hello and welcome to Battlefield 4 News 78, and this is another catch-up news episode. So in the last episode I caught up with all the CTE changes. This time it's going to be all the news that surrounds Battlefield 4, Hardline, CTE that isn't directly related to changes. So it's releases from DICE and EA, forum posts, things we're likely to see in the future, that kind of stuff. And let's get started with a patch that happened yesterday. So there was a PC server update that was to fix a couple of issues. The first of them is that it was possible to spawn in-game with gadgets from different classes. So now this has been fixed, I can tell you how it was done. What you would do is go in-game and remove the gadgets from one class. So say you removed all the gadgets from the Recon class. Then you went to the Engineer class, loaded up the RPG-7 and some slams, and you would quickly swap between the two classes while you were deploying. And what you would end up with is the Recon class with an RPG and slams. There's no point trying it now, because like I say, it's been fixed. Secondly, they fixed an issue in the Capture the Flag game mode that I don't quite understand. It says, fix for an issue where the team with the highest points sometimes won in CTF regardless of captures. So I'm guessing what was happening is that behind the scenes, capturing a flag gave your team a certain number of points, and it was relying on the team with the most points having captured the most flags. But it seems to have been taking into account things like kills and vehicle destroys as well as capturing the flags, and so therefore you could lose on flag captures 3-2 but have got a lot more kills and your team would then win. I'm guessing that's what the problem was, but I don't know. It's been confirmed that the final Stand DLC isn't coming out when it was originally scheduled to. So it was originally planned to come this summer, so it was kind of August, September time. It's been confirmed by EA CEO Andrew Wilson, when giving some financial earnings, that the final Stand DLC has been moved back to quarter 3 of the fiscal year. And quarter 3 of the fiscal year is October, November, December. And that's because the fiscal year runs till April the 1st, not until January the 1st. So there are a couple of reasons why this has been pushed back. The first of which is the delay that was caused by the bad launch of Battlefield 4. So we've seen the DLCs being shuffled backwards to make up for the time they took repairing Battlefield 4. The second reason for this date change is the fact that Battlefield Hardline is now delayed until early 2015, so we're going to be expecting that in the spring. And Patrick Sutherland of EA gave us some reasons as to why there has been this delay. So he's talking about the beta here, and he says, we allowed people to play for a little bit longer, maybe than we planned, because we found a lot of feedback from players in there, providing us with information and feedback around the features of the game and how the game felt. And things like the cops and robbers fiction maybe wasn't shining through properly. You know, isn't like playing a military game, but it should be a cops and robbers game. So it seems like EA and Visceral have taken note of the fact that everybody said it felt like a Battlefield 4 DLC. And we know they've gone off and done a lot of work on the multiplayer and the single player as well. So I'm feeling quite positive about Hardline now. I wasn't when I played the beta because it was just Battlefield 4 reskinned. But now they're going back and making changes and taking more time. It seems like it's going to be more of the cops and robbers game I was hoping for. So on the forums you hear a lot about people saying not as many people play Battlefield 4 as used to play Battlefield 3. Well, here you can see the figures for it. The Battlefield 3 figures are in blue and the Battlefield 4 figures are in orange. And this is 280 days after the release, the number of people who were playing in a day. So on PC you can see that Battlefield 4 has more people playing than Battlefield 3 did at the same time. On PS3 and Xbox 360 the figures are lower for Battlefield 4, but that's because we've got the migration to PS4 and Xbox One. Now, admittedly the PS4 and Xbox One don't have that many titles, particularly the PS4. There aren't that many shooters to actually play. But people playing Battlefield 4 on the PS4 is almost up to the levels of people playing Battlefield 3 on the PS3 for the same time period. And that's even though there are still a lot of people playing Battlefield 4 on the PS3. If you take the PlayStation consoles both together, then Battlefield 4 is more popular than Battlefield 3 on the PlayStation. So there are still plenty of people out there playing Battlefield 4 across PC and the consoles. So a post from Tiggy, one of the DICE devs, is hinting that the next major patch for the live game is going to be coming out in September. So they're not sure of the exact date because the console versions need to be certified with Sony and Microsoft. Before you can release a patch on the next gen or old gen consoles, it has to be certified by Sony and Microsoft that it doesn't destroy your game. They don't go in and check things like balance and the actual mechanics of the game. What they check is that the game doesn't crash horribly and it doesn't damage your console. And he also goes into some of the reasons as to why they're making all these balance and damage changes. Now, I'm not going to go into this here. I'm going to go into this when I talk about what's happening on the CTE servers and the current state of the CTE game. And that'll come in a video in the next couple of days. Another big clue that this update to the live game is coming in September is this post that is put up on the CTE news. Now, this is about the core gameplay Initiative 2 that we've been testing on the CTE servers. They're stopping any development on CTE and concentrating on fixing any bugs in the current build, because this is going to be the build that you will get on Battlefield 4 live servers. Now, they're still going to be doing the weapon balancing that's going on at the moment, but what they're not going to be doing is changing any features. And I have to say the current CTE build is very good. My only gripe with it is this balancing they're doing to the weapons, whether they're going a bit overboard and making everything a bit samey, but hopefully that can be fixed over the next week or so. It has been confirmed that part of this update will be the 30Hz tick rate coming to the 360 and PS3. So originally this was only going to be on the PS4, Xbox One and PC, but it is now being rolled out onto the older consoles as well. Now, I should really have included this chart in the last video about the CTE changes, but I hadn't found it then, so I'll quickly go over it here. So this gives you an idea of the changes they're making to some of the guns. So AEK has a maximum damage currently of 25, so it takes 4 bullets to kill, and it takes 5 bullets to kill if they're using the defensive perk. So close range, the defensive perk gives you 1 extra shot. What they've done on the CTE servers is dropped that max damage to 24, so it's 5 bullets to kill at close range, and it's 5 bullets to kill at close range if they're using the defensive perk. So the defensive perk no longer gives you any bonus at close range. Where the problem comes is guns like the Scar H and the Bulldog, which have a different damage model and a slower rate of fire. So they're now up to 4 bullets to kill, but their rate of fire makes that seem a lot worse. But again, I'll go into all this when I do the CTE gameplay video. Here we have a question that gets asked a lot. Are non-premium members going to be able to test on the CTE servers? And the answer is no. And the simple reason for that is that CTE allows you to play on any map. Non-premium members haven't paid for those DLCs and therefore aren't allowed on the CTE servers. That's one reason. The other reason is that premium members play more hours of Battlefield than non-premium members. So the premium members are playing the game a lot more, know the game a lot better. They've played on all the maps and they've used all the weapons because they have all the DLCs. Now true, a non-premium member could have all the DLCs as well, but there's no way for DICE really to check that. The easiest check they can do is, are you a premium member? Yes, then you can go on to CTE. And it does kind of work out, because I'm a premium member, and since CTE is launched I've played more hours on CTE than I have on the live game. I've currently played about 500 hours of Battlefield on the CTE servers. And that's what they want for the testers. They want people who will play CTE regularly. This image is from the Rad Gamer Dan, who's found a new bunch of dog tags hidden away in the game files. So we've got the final stand dog tags, the CTE participant dog tags, and a bunch of dog tags that only appear on CTE servers. So the CTE participant dog tags are those that are going to be on the live game for CTE players. So for the final stand dog tags we have what appears to be a death jester, a gunfight, which looks like it's from Once Upon a Time in the West, that image, two teddy bears fighting, one about to stab the other one with a knife, two French mimes, and what looks like a dinosaur stuck in a tar pit. Why the mimes and the teddy bears are there, I don't know. I guess we'll find out when final stand comes around. We have 3 standard CTE participant dog tags, which include crash test dummies, and we have 1 golden dice dog tag, which I assume you will have to have done something special for. They have said that the participant dog tags and camos are not going to be available to everybody who's been on CTE. There are certain conditions that you're going to have met to get them. And the CTE dog tags, we have a DICE LA one, we have a party hat and streamer which is splattered with paint, and we have a number 1 dog tag with a trophy. So I don't know exactly what those CTE dog tags are. All I know is that they appear on CTE servers at the moment but don't appear on the live servers. And this post from Tiggy gave us an idea of what the camo requirements are going to be from CTE. So it's going to include gameplay, forum posts, and things like when they put out specific requests for people to play on the servers. They're going to be running scripts rather than it just being a simple yes or no based on your time played. There are going to be other requirements in there as well. So not everybody who's played on CTE is going to meet the requirements of getting the CTE camo. Tiggy's also provided in a post the reason why the China Rising maps were missing their LEvolution, and that was because of the amount of memory. So they ran out of memory to put the LEvolution elements in. To get LEvolution in, they would have had to take out something else. And it's the problem of balancing PC, next gen console and old gen console, and trying to get the same detailed maps and LEvolution elements to work on all of them, when the old gen consoles just don't have enough memory. Here is the confirmation that there are 2 extra slots built into Battlefield 4 for DLCs. So we know there's going to be 5 DLCs coming, so that will be 0 through to 4. Now we can see that there are 5 and 6 as well. So whether these were just put in here as a contingency in case they did need to do anything, or whether these are planned, we're not sure. It's just what somebody has found in the files. Now there's been a lot of talk on the forums about the fact that with Hardline being delayed and Final Stand coming out in October, there could be 4 or 5 months between Final Stand and the release of Hardline. So would they sneak in another DLC, maybe from the older maps, rejigged to work on Battlefield 4? And finally for this episode, we've got some new Hardline information from Gamescom in Germany. Visceral have released 2 trailers. One is a multiplayer trailer for a game mode called Rescue, and the second is a 12-minute single player trailer which shows you quite a bit of one of the storylines. You can click on the videos here to go and look at the trailers, or there'll be links in the description. The Rescue trailer shows a hostage mission inside a cannabis factory, and the cops have got a limited amount of time to go in and rescue the hostages. Interestingly, if you set fire to the cannabis plants, everybody gets stoned. The single player trailer shows some cinematics and some action from one of the levels, and there's distraction methods, arresting, intimidating, non-lethal takedowns, lethal takedowns, and some of the worst gunplay you'll have seen in a video for a long time. I'm not sure why, but every time they have a trailer, the person playing the game seems to be really bad at it. And they gave out a few details of a game mode called Hotwire, which seems to be a car racing game in which you can shoot the other cars. And that's it for this episode of Battlefield 4 News. So it looks like we're going to be getting the update in September, we're going to be getting Final Stand probably in October, and Hardline in the spring. So over the next week or so I'm going to be doing a few more CTE videos to let you know what you can expect in the live patch. The first of these will be out on Friday, and they're going to be my thoughts on the current weapon balance situation. Until then, thanks for watching. They've also fixed an issue with CTE.